Greetings everybody, Amar here, and I'm just doing a quick video for one of the new members in the group, Joanne, and she was asking what is a good starting point to use when using the Advantage Gold program. I think one of the first things you want to do is print out chart 4. This is the drawing sense hit chart. You can see here it's Florida 5 of 36, and this is the range 1 to 6,147, where the last drawing is the 14th of May. You have to be careful when printing out the drawing sense hit chart because you could print out the entire history and you don't want to do that. I would recommend to print out at least the last 2 years. So you could change the range to 720 drawings, approximately 2 years, and print that out just so you have a large overview, and print that out and tape that to a wall somewhere. That's what I had done when I was having my most success. Now, the other starting point is the 4B, okay, which is here, gold 4B. And again, I think the best starting point is to change the range. All right, I changed the range on this particular one here. Okay, so the range is from 5968 to 6147, and that's 700. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That was 180 drawings. So basically, I went back half a year approximately. I approximate my years by 180, then 360, and then 2 years would be 720 draws. All right. Now, when you change the range, it removes a lot of the data here. Okay, so there's less data because it's almost TMI, right? So when you change the range, you can see where the cold numbers are easier. And you can see right away that here the 32 is the hottest number within the last 180 games. It's a plus 17, and it's got a lot of hot streaks. So here you had a hot streak of 7-2-0-1-3-1-1-6-3-2-0, etc. So this was a really long streak, you know. So this is, I guess, the extreme end of the bell curve, right? And then you had like this really cold number here, which is the 11. You can see it's short here, which is a -3. The coldest number I think is what here? -6 is the 15. The problem is you got to be careful with the cold numbers because you don't know when they're gonna come in. All right. Now, if you're going strictly by the book, I don't remember what page she said. She says that after 3 cold periods, a number will get hot. Now that is true, but it's not true in 100% of the cases. All right. If you look at the number 11 here, all right, each of these blue boxes indicate a cold period. So this is the first cold period, this is the second cold period, and this is the third cold period, right? But you wound up having a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, and eighth cold period, right? And she doesn't mention anything about that in the book. So you could have been expecting this number to get hot, and it wouldn't have gotten hot. The only thing that this number had, the coldest number, it was bottoming, right? So you had the 6, 15, and then you had a 15 here and a 15 here. So the cold numbers actually are strong on the long bottoms, all right? So you have 15, 15, and now it got into a streak, 1, 0, 1, 1, 7, all right? It's not a smart pig here, all right? But you can see it had a lot more cold periods. And this I would also print out. You change the range to 180 and you print this out, and then you mark the cold periods, right? Anything greater than skip 9 I would consider a cold period, right? Now, strictly by the book here, the number 29 had 1 cold period, 2 cold periods, and this third cold period. So you had the symmetry here, 13, 13, because that's what a bottom is. Bottom is basically symmetry. 13, 13 to 31, and then you had the reverse, right? So I think the main thing when you think of a reverse cascade, you're thinking of reverse. So like a trend reversal means it's getting hot. Reverse cascade means it's getting hot. Why? Because it has the reverse in common. So you have 7021, and here it's a smart pick. So in this case, if you go strictly by the book, it was 3 cold periods for the 29, but for the 11, it didn't go as the way the book suggested. So you want to keep that in mind. So this is the drawing sense hit chart. This is the numeric, but I like to consider this the horizontal abbreviated, because the abbreviated, it's not really abbreviated, it's more of a substitution, because instead of the number sign you have an X, and instead of the days out you have a dash. So it makes more sense to call it a substitution, and this is really the horizontal abbreviated chart. So these yellow highlights are the smart picks. You have the 2, the 7, the 8, the 12, the 16, 27, 28, 29, 30, and these are the skips. Okay, so it's like you have to use 4B and the regular 4 together to show the hot patterns. Now, the thing I don't like about gold is that it's hard to spot the flag formation sometimes just with this. So that's why I use my Excel, right? And the pink numbers here are the flags, right? I made that hot pink as in hot. So pink was in hot, and pink suggests all the flag formations. So these red stars are the same as these red stars here and these yellow highlights. So you can see easier the patterns, at least I can. You know, you can put whatever colors you want, really. But I put the hot pink so I can see the flag formations, you know, easier. All right. Now this area here, this is the reverse flag. Okay. So that is a entry point. All right. The reverse flag is a reversal. So the number is going from cold to hot. All right. This is a repeat. The 7 here. So these are the smart picks. And this one is actually good here. 29 I like. Now, when you have a starting point, right, for me, this is my personal experience. So, like the 7 is a smart pick here, right? So, I try to, and this was a strategy that I had observed in the Take 5 in New York, is that if your first number is 7, that means your last number is going to be around approximately 28. All right, so that's plus 21, and I do plus or minus 1, so it's 20, 21, 22. So the 7 would be the first number, let's say, and the 29 would be the last number. All right, this 28 is a bottom. Okay, this is a trend reversal. This is a 27 is a trend reversal. This 30 is it's still reversing. It's decreasing skips. This 16 is a upstroke in a flag formation, 1-4. This is a bottom, 3-2. Now the 13 is also a bottom here. It's 2-2. So there's really no reason that I can see why the 12 would be shown as a smart pick and not the 13. All right. And then here's the 11 that I had mentioned. It had got it was really cold, the 8 cold periods. It got really hot here, and now it's cascading out. Now, this number, you would bet it to stay in the streak, right? So it may come in at 7, 8, or 9, but generally, if it comes in at 7, 8, or 9, then I would play it. I would play it to have another of these small skips, 0 and 1. But I don't want to do too much analysis. The other starting point that I need to mention is the scoreboard. Okay, I usually only run 4, 5, and 6, and I weight chart 4 is 4, chart 5 is 5, and chart 6 is 6. not because I feel that they're any more important. It's just as a matter of clarity. So when I, come all the way down here and I look at these numbers and I say, oh, it's a smart pick, but what chart is it? So when I see the 6 here, I know that it's chart 6, which is the skip chart, and chart 4 is the drawing sense hit chart. All right. Now what's cool about this chart that I like is that there's a little tiny 4B here, right? Where the X is the number and the dashes are the games out. So you can look at each number and see which one you like. Now I had highlighted here the 11 because you can see the 11 here is skip 7. It is showing as a skip as a smart pick on the skip and hit chart. It's not showing on chart 4 or chart 5. Well, of course not chart 5 because it's not a repeat. The only repeats are over here, the 30, 14, and 7. So that's why also I figured that if the 7 is the smarting point, it takes you to the 29. All right, and that's a 4-number trap strategy, and that for me was a guide, right? Whether you want to expand that or contract that, but that was where I will start with the take 5, and I had pretty good success in being able to win money to continue betting and not always constantly having to go into pocket with fresh money. All right, so the 7 is showing as chart 4 and chart 5. It's also, this is the rank in the entire history. The scoreboard also can be sorted. So if you look at the scoreboard in gold and you click on this column here out, it sorts from smallest to greatest or greatest to smallest. And I like to do it from smallest to greatest is because Gail says in the book somewhere that you should focus on numbers within the last 5 games. And so here, these are the last 5 games. And you can see the pattern, the skip pattern. So you can see here, like for instance, for the 1-day skips, you can see these are all strong on the skip chart. So the number 31 looks pretty good. All right, it's out of that spread from 7 to 29. But if you look at the drawing sense hit chart, the 31 is still a pretty good pick here. And you had to skip one before here, and it's an adjacent. So you could have the 7 as your starting point. I would go to 31. 24 is not a bad spread from first number to last number. So let's say you had, that's how you were structuring your picks, right? So you had the 7 here as the first number, right? And then you had the 31, let's say approximately as the last number. The 32 is also interesting, but I'll go to the 39. So right there you have 7, 29, 31 as 3 odds, right? So you could then focus on evens as the other numbers. So let's see, what's an even here? The even here is this 12. There's an even here of let's say 16. Even of, let's say 26, right? So you could start structuring your wheel like that by odds and evens. But if you have a starting point, it's easy to know where you're going to go with the rest of your picks. I do like this 13 still. It's the 2-2 bottom, like that. And so that's how I would structure my wheel. This number 20 also looks interesting. You could look at the cluster skip hit chart to see how the number likes to hit at skip 24, or if it's at a close bottom recently, and also chart 6. I'm not sure if the scoreboard has chart 6 here as let's see, the number 20. All right, the number 20 would be all the way down here. So let's see, skip 24. And you can see there by the skip chart, the 24 would be an okay pick. I would look deeper into it. I'm not going to do that now. But that's where I would start. So you start by printing this out here. All right. Start marking your cold periods. Okay. Print out I would say print out 2 years, but just start with, let's say, 6 months of the drawing sense hit chart, paste it on the wall, start marking things that you see, adjacent trends. That's a good way to start, also using the adjacent chart and seeing when you have the adjacent numbers come in. Um, and I guess that's about it. So, like I said, the red are the smart picks, and these red arrows are numbers that uh, a couple numbers that I threw in, or numbers that I like. This, you can see the number 8 is upstroke in a flag formation, where the 5 still has the symmetry. Skip 5 still has the symmetry on the 6 over here. And I don't know. I guess I hope that helps. Helps you, Joanne. If you have any other questions, you can post them in the group. But check out the other group, the Amar Gail Howard Lotto group. There are 3 questions that I did put so that I could see if people have read the book and see how, how in depth they are and how interested they are. They're simple questions if you've read the book. I know, basically it's just some of the answers that are on the back cover of the book. I mean, some of the questions on the back cover, and that's it. So if you want to share your selections in one of the 2 groups, you can. I'd be interested to see how you do and how this information helps, and see if there's anything else, any feedback from you. The other thing I like to do is I like to take this. I like to print out this drawing sense hit chart. I had this on my wall once, 2 years worth. I mean, it's a fortune in ink, but you have to commit at some point, and I was doing pretty good for a while. But I didn't quit. But I'm almost about to quit because I'm kind of losing my enthusiasm from all this losing. But and I can't play, so that doesn't help. So that's about it. So let me know your feedback in the comments, and good luck.